Welcome, everybody, to the Rebel Crone and another exciting interview with my friend, Dr. Cori. And Dr. Cori is from Take Control Your Health. And I find that she has this beautiful, balanced perspective that I think is really important for us women of all ages, but especially as we age. So I'd like to welcome Dr. Cori. Welcome back to the Rebel Crone. Thank you for being with me today.
So happy to be here. I love working with you.
Oh, I know. It's kindred spirits. I always feel like that great connection. It makes it all that much more special because we can go into areas that we are because we kind of think alike and look at things similarly, that we can go in areas and hopefully expand out some really important information for all you beautiful women out there. I know today, Dr. Cori gave me a list of some things that we could talk about, and I immediately went to the secrets of anti-aging because isn't that what we all like long for? Is our immortality made manifest on Earth? At least to slow down that earthly process a little bit because it doesn't feel natural because it's not naturally who we are, right? So, anyways, Dr. Gray, I'm not even sure where we're even going to go with it because it's going to be a surprise to me as well. So I'm going to hand it off to you on your special anti-aging secrets.
So, for anybody that hasn't heard me speak before, I'm 61 and I feel very passionate about staying as healthy as I can and living as long as I can, which means that I needed to find ways to slow down my own aging process. One of the motivating factors for me staying healthy and staying alive as long as I can and in this body and in this lifetime is because I have a special needs son who's somewhat dependent on me. And I would like to be able to be around for him and do the things for him that I do, um, which a big part of that is keeping him healthy. So I feel like it's an obligation. And it's what I call a joyful obligation because if you are going to stay around and stay in your body, you might as well be able to enjoy it and do what you want to do with it, right? So, what's the point of being alive if you can't enjoy life and do the things that you want to do? And I have this conversation with my patients very frequently. I had this conversation last night with an 82-year-old patient, which is I'm going to tell you the conversation, which will lead me into some of the basics of staying young and healthy. She had gained 2 pounds. She's overweight. She's very short, and she has some lower back and knee pain. And she had gained a little bit of weight since I last saw her. And I have all my patients do a food journal so I can see with my own eyes what they're actually eating. And this food journal was loaded with very calorie dense foods and high carbs and sugars. She's Asian, so she was eating a lot of rice. I had gotten her to cut back on the rice, but she was eating more rice. She was eating pizza. She was drinking ginger ale. She had ice cream. She was eating cookies. And so I said to her, listen, you have a decision to make. And this is your decision. You're a grown up. You've made it this far. I want you to think about it. You don't have to answer me now. Do you want to stay alive as long as you can and be as healthy as possible and be as mobile as possible and not live in pain? Or are you at the point now where you want to say, all right, you know what? I'm 82. I made it this far. I just want to do what I want to do. I just want to eat what I want to eat. I don't want to worry about it. And whatever happens, happens. I said, don't answer me. Just think about it and let me know. But she answered me right away anyway. She's like, nope, I choose to live as long as I can and stay healthy. Said, okay, then we're going to have to make some changes in your diet because what you're eating is not serving your health. And she agreed. So that is always the foundation for health, is clean, nutrient dense nutrition, because your body is literally made out of what you eat. So that saying you are what you eat is correct. It's accurate. You know, your body, every part of you is made out of cells. Every single part, you know, every organ, your skin is made out of skin cells. Your hair is made out of hair cells. Your bones made out of bone cells. Your heart's made out of heart cells. Your brain's made out of brain cells. And most people realize that their cells are always dying, but they don't really think about what happens with the dead cells, which your, you know, body breaks down and gets rid of parts of. But the reason that you stay alive is because you're constantly developing new cells. And the thing to think about is where your body gets the material that it needs to grow the new cells. And I ask people this very frequently. Where do you think the material comes from to grow new cells? And some people will answer things like air, water. Well, yes, water to some degree, but literally it comes from nutrition, from food. Food gives your body the replacement parts it needs to grow new cells. So that's always going to be step one. You could even call it step zero. You cannot stay young and healthy without giving your body the material that it needs. And it needs real food. The definition of real food is things that grow on the ground, grow on a tree, or have a mother and are minimally processed, right? So food has to grow in nutrient dense soil. That's where you get the nutrients from the food. Animals that you eat have to be eating food from nutrient dense soil, or they're not healthy. So it's an amazing cycle that occurs, but you cannot stay healthy if you're eating non-food. So we call that processed products.
You know, and I was just thinking about that. It's just like killing yourself slowly,
Right.
is like a bad diet like that. We don't know that because it is a slow process. Like we don't want to kill ourselves quickly. And then those things we know are bad and there, but the less obvious would be the food that we put in our body because it's not immediate. Our bodies are such magnificent machines and they're going to find homeostasis, right, at whatever level. But I think oftentimes people's levels just keep dropping down the older they get, lower and lower function. But because they plateau and go down slowly, all of a sudden one day you just wake up, you go, wow, I'm not doing so good. What happened? It's, yeah. So I love this. I love this foundational part of it.
Yes. And, to your point, disease doesn't actually develop overnight. You don't wake up one day and you have diabetes or you have heart disease or even aging. You don't wake up one day and suddenly your skin is sagging when it wasn't before. It's always a slow process, and very often you're not aware that it's happening until it's too late and it's happened. And then you need to go about the business of trying to fix it, and that's a lot more difficult than trying to prevent it. So prevention of disease is one of the keys by eating the correct foods that your body needs. You need protein, fat, and carbohydrates, and water. That's what your body is made out of, and that's what you need. I was at my nail salon today, and my nail technicians always ask me for health advice, and I bring them supplements and all different things. And today, one of them said to me, "My medical doctor told me to avoid eating fat because my triglycerides were too high. That's the fat in the blood." And I said, that is incorrect information. You cannot live without fat. Your brain is mostly fat. Your eyes are mostly fat. Every cell in your body is covered with a fat membrane. You need fat. You need the right kind of fat. So if your doctor would have said to you, avoid bad fats, that would have been good advice, not to avoid fat. I had a
Uh,
patient once who worked for a cardiologist, and the cardiologist told her not to eat fat for ever eat fat. Don't ever eat. She didn't eat fat for 20 years and she went blind.
Oh,
So,
Cori, Dr. Cori, when I was in my 20s, there was the big fad back then, like in the 80s, and that just aged me too. I'm 63. And so there was that fad of no fat. And for years and years I didn't. And I think there's a lot of premature aging that happened. There's a lot of like wrinkles that set in early
right,
on, and different structural things that happen with bone density. And now I'm making up for it all that time I lost, because I'm making sure I get like live fat in this body, and my
yes,
body's smaller and healthier and all that, and all those years that I did not do that. And it's just such a shame that the medical profession that so many people rely on for the truth doesn't even know this.
right. They, in their defense, they're taught differently.
Yeah.
So, and they literally don't know. Um, but yeah, so fat, your skin needs fat to stay healthy also. And you need cholesterol. Your hormones are made out of cholesterol. Your brain needs cholesterol too. So the way to find out what kind of food you should be eating, easy enough. I have so many videos on my channel about that. Easy to understand videos with this kind of information. What kind of fats are good for you? What kind of protein to eat? What kind of carbs you should be eating? It's not that difficult to learn how to eat properly. And I even provide you with resources where to get the right food. And that's important too, because a lot of people are lost and they just don't know where to start. So,
And you're never too old. Like your example, you're talking about the 82-year-old woman. You're never too old to stop, to start nourishing your body.
that's correct. Yes. So I have patients that come to me, they start a program with me in their 70s, 80s, even a few 90-year-olds that are just starting to work on their health, and they get results. There's no reason not to make good changes if you want to improve the quality of your body and the functioning of your body. So good nutrition is the first and foremost foundation. And the next thing is staying hydrated.
Mm.
Most people know your body is made out of mostly water. Water is the most abundant material in your body. And you cannot stay young or healthy if you're dehydrated. And a lot of people are chronically dehydrated. The first place that is going to demonstrate dehydration is going to be your skin. So your skin is made out of mostly protein, but it's filled with water, and it needs, it secretes oil, so it needs fat. Those are the things that keep your skin staying younger and slowing down wrinkle formation. So chronic dehydration is going to lead to um, accelerated wrinkles, among other problems, right? So your blood is mostly made out of water. Many of your organs are in fluid-filled sacs, your brain, your heart, your spleen, your liver. So you can't live a healthy life if you're not hydrated. Water is such a big topic because there's so much very confusing information about it. And most people have wrong information about water. So planet Earth has given us the right kind of water to drink, the kind of water we're supposed to be drinking, which is basically water that's in motion, melted snow from a mountain, for example, in a moving stream, which is the correct pH and the correct molecular structure. When water is moving, it is what we call normal. And then when it gets into your body, your cells are able to take it in. when it's not that, you don't, you can drink and drink and drink and not necessarily hydrate. I have so many patients that tell me, I'm drinking all day long. I stay thirsty. My lips are chapped. My skin is dry. They're not absorbing the water. So this can happen with water that's sitting like in a bottle or even in a reservoir. It can happen when the water is the incorrect pH. So people are messing with the pH of their water, making it an unnatural pH. People are adding all kinds of weird stuff to their water now. And the best solution, there's actually a website that you can go on. I don't remember the name of it right now, but I'll give it to you after. There's a website you can go on to find the closest source of clean water that you can go and get. And I know it's not really that practical. Like I can't do that. I know people that do it though. I know people that go to a mountain spring with bottles and fill them up. But the second best thing is to get an amazing water filter in your house that does kind of recreates, that it does all the things that recreate natural water. So it cleans all the toxins out, leaves the minerals in, and restructures it so that it's normal, so that you can actually absorb it. So I do have resources for that as well. I've become an expert on this topic just out of necessity. First out of, for my own body and that of my family, but also for my patients. I had to learn things that I never really was interested in, like what's the best kind of filter. I was using the completely wrong filter before I learned this information. So now I have the right kind of filter, and it's made a tremendous difference.
I just did a couple months ago. It was like a $500 water test. We're on a well here. And
Mhm.
I just did this comprehensive test to really make sure that our water's clean. The previous owner said the water's good. We have a softener in the house because it turns out it's very hard coming from the well and it softens here. But I want to make sure, because we drink a lot of water, all the things we're putting in our body. If we're not putting clean water in, it's a problem. But I want to share a couple of things that I use. Is I have something called a Mayu system, MAYU, and it's a little base, and then it's got a water jug. You fill the glass bottle and you put it on there, and it spins the water. So it's a bzzz, and it just spins like a little whirlpool on the inside. And you spin it for so many minutes, and then you drink it, and it re-energizes and restructures the water.
Structures it, yeah.
Yeah. So and then there's another, and I don't know if they still make it, but there used to be a system called Grandeur water systems, and it's a water spinning stuff. And they put it on, like I think before water even goes into your house, and it'll just spin the water as it's coming into your house. And that's like so cool. I've always sort of wanted to have, something like that put in the house, because it's really powerful, powerful stuff. And then the third thing here is I do a lot of electrolyte drops, of minerals to put in my water. And that to me, I feel like it really helps like it getting into my body, as opposed
It
to just because
does.
I could be one that just like drink, drink, drink. And I'm like always dehydrated. If I start doing my minerals in the water and I spin it, then all of a sudden I'm like, I don't need half as much water. I still need to drink a lot, but it's just, I feel like it goes in.
Exactly. Minerals help pull the water into your cells by osmosis, and salt is one of the most important minerals that does that. And that's another thing that medical doctors tell people: don't eat salt, avoid salt, it's bad for you. And that is totally wrong. You need salt. Every single cell in your body has a sodium channel. Your nervous system uses salt to create electric charges, and your salt fluid balance is so important. So I have so many people now just putting a quarter teaspoon of good quality salt in their water, or electrolytes, or trace minerals, because not all water has the same mineral profile, and some filters do take out minerals. So I use a filter that this was developed by a holistic doctor who tried to do everything perfectly, get all the toxins out and leave the minerals behind. And there's also a restructuring component. So, it's expensive, but it's cheaper than buying bottled water for the rest of your life, which is still not optimal, right?
Well, it's
And
not
there's some,
optimal for the
right,
environment to have all these plastic
right,
bottles and
right,
all of that. And if you think like the investment in your health is something you're drinking, like the quantity every day,
right,
you prorate that out, it's like a
right.
minuscule investment.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. That's how I see it. And that's actually, I mean, I spend most of my money on my health and that of my family, you know. I'll joke and say that I spend my whole paycheck on my dog, but I mean, in a way, like I do also. I that's where I want to put that's my priority. So my priority is health. I just feel like that's the first dynamic. If you don't have your health, what's the point?
What's
That's
the
how I
point?
see it. Right. That's how I see it. So then after water, the third foundational important thing is sleep, because you do most of your healing in your sleep. You do most of your healing in your deep sleep. Um, so you produce a hormone in your deep sleep called human growth hormone. And human growth hormone is an anti-aging hormone. It repairs micro damage in your body. So if you're not getting enough good quality deep sleep, you are going to age faster. And I have found that many people have, for a variety of different reasons, are not getting enough good sleep. Sometimes it's due to stress. People will say, oh, I wake up in the middle of the night and my mind is racing and I can't go back to sleep. Sometimes it's due to overstimulation. People will stay on their devices too long and overstimulate themselves, or they'll just stay up too late because they're addicted to whatever they're doing and they can't stop. And then they end up not getting enough sleep because they have to wake up at a certain time. And then there's actual sleep disorders like sleep apnea, where people are not breathing properly, which wakes them up and prevents them from getting good deep sleep, and or pain where they're not comfortable and the pain wakes them up. So there's actually solutions for all of these things. Each case would have to be handled individually, but as an overview, I do recommend that people give themselves a cutoff point for turning off their devices, and also, turn on the if you have a if you're spending time on a phone, you can turn the blue light off at a certain time because the blue light actually stimulates you more. Um, but cut yourself off. I mean, I talk to myself like I'm a child. I say, okay, Cori, now it's time to put the phone down and go to beddy bye. I literally will tell myself that. Um, and then I am a good girl and I follow my instructions. Um, so that's one good habit to get into. Um, some of the sleep hygiene, keep the room as dark as possible. Make sure your mattress and your pillow are as comfortable as possible. If they're old, you need to replace them. They don't last forever. Sometimes people forget to get new pillows. Most pillows don't last that long, not as long as you think they do. And if your mattress allows it, you should flip it periodically, or turn it head to foot. Get the most comfortable sheets that you can find. I sleep on organic cotton sheets. They feel so good on my body. I can't wait to get into bed. Prop yourself up with pillows if you need to. You can put pillow between your knees, or if you're on your back, under your knees. You can put a pillow under your arm and hold your arm up if your shoulder bothers you. Make sure your neck is supported. Put the pillow between your head and your shoulder, so that there's no space there. keep the room as dark as possible and as quiet as possible, and also as cool as you can tolerate it. There's many studies that show that you live longer if you sleep in a colder environment and sleep more deeply. So that's just some,
I love all those three things. Those I think are
yeah.
real important. You know, Dr. Cori, I wanted to ask you about something too that I found the older I get that this has really changed is my whole sleep hygiene. And one of the things is alcohol. I've never been one much for drinking alcohol till we moved to Santa Fe, and a lot of our friends, you know, like to a lot of alcohol involved in social gatherings and stuff. But I have found literally that for me, it's a choice. Do I want to sleep tonight or do I want to have a little alcohol? And I'm not much. I mean, it may be one drink or a little bit of wine or a little sangria, or it just doesn't take much, just a little bit. And my sleep is disturbed. And I found that this has gotten more sensitive the older I've gotten to
Mhm.
sleep disturbances. So I've got to really be super careful and conscientious about what I do. You know, the darkness, the lack of noise, you know, good, nice cotton sheets, you know, who wants polyester sweating? And then the alcohol component is major.
So it's not uncommon for alcohol to disrupt your sleep. Sometimes it happens and people are not even realizing or aware that it's happening. And part of the reason is that sugar actually disrupts your sleep. So we recommend that you don't have sugar in the evening. I actually recommend you don't have sugar, period. But um, the higher the sugar content in the alcohol, the worse that it is. So, for example, if you're going to compare wine to sangria, sangria actually has a lot more sugar in it. And then there are alcohols that are cleaner. So, um, clear alcohol like vodka and gin are have less toxins in them. So some people tolerate them better, and I'm not encouraging people to drink. But if you are going to have alcohol, you may just want to try different alcohols to see if one, if there's one that you tolerate better, and then don't add sugar to it. So if you're going to drink gin, don't pour a bunch of tonic in it because tonic is full of sugar. So you just have to find the drink that you can tolerate if you want to drink socially on occasion that's not going to bother you. But some people can't drink. I had a patient who had severe adult acne, cystic acne, and we finally figured out that it was due to alcohol, and there was no alcohol that she could drink that wouldn't cause it to get worse. So different bodies tolerate different things, and it's good to find out what your body tolerates. One of the ways of doing that is to keep a food, drink, symptom journal where you're tracking how you feel, the quality of your sleep, your bowel movements, all of your basic daily, you know, your mood, and do that for a while. And then you can start to see if there are patterns. Oh, every time I drink, I have this one patient, every time he drinks any alcohol, he snores for over 2 hours during the night. And when he doesn't drink, there was one night where he only snored for 45 minutes. So we've been, following that to see if we can figure out how to get him to stop snoring.
I've got a question for you because it's a little more insidious here. So one of my understandings is when you take like different sleep drugs, you know, prescribed sleep drugs, which a lot of people are on, that you may think like you're sleeping the whole night, but you're not going into the deep nourishing kind of sleeps with them. So I don't know if that's accurate or not, but let me just lay out all my questions. So let's say like if that's true or not. And then so I wonder then about marijuana because that's legal now, I think in most states, and a lot of people I know are doing little gummies to sleep. And I'm just wondering if that would fall in that category. If I use a gummy to go to sleep, that if it's maybe I zonk and tune out, but am I going into the deep nourishing sleep? So could you like address those?
Yeah. So I'm not a fan of using pharmaceuticals, period, because they always have side effects. And actually, one of the problems with sleeping medications is, and this is true of all drugs, it will stop the cells that are supposed to secrete the sleeping hormones. It'll stop them from working well. And then after a while, they won't work anymore. And then when you try to, let's say you want to stop the drug, you're going to have a severe rebound insomnia. So that I see that as a big problem. That means you're going to end up stuck on them. And they're not good for you. They're harmful. And yes, there is evidence that you're not getting the same kind of sleep. So when you induce sleep with any kind of chemical, it's going to change the type of sleep that you're getting, and whether that chemical is THC or a sleep pharmaceutical or alcohol, because alcohol can make you pass out too. But then there's, a
So you
change.
wake up though wide awake though. You pass out for a little bit, but for me, then I wake up wide awake. I did try a little sleep gummy once. I'm so sensitive to things. So I like a little, like a half of a half of a half or something ridiculously little. And I have an aversion though to marijuana smells and taste. And I woke up in the middle of the night with a marijuana taste in my mouth, and it was so like appalling to me because I hated that. And I just felt off. I really, something didn't feel quite right. And when I woke up, I just didn't feel like right from it because I don't use stuff to sleep. And so there's definitely something that influenced me, and I didn't like that influence. I never tried it again. So yeah, I was just wondering about that because a lot of people are using it now.
I know. I know, but a lot of people don't have good sleep hygiene habits, and they're not eating the right foods. When you avoid sugar at night and eat enough protein, it's helpful for better quality sleep. And then, all the things that I said, people are staying on their devices, they're overstimulated, they're dealing with stress and anxiety, and they're not handling it well. So they're self-medicating, they're using substances to force sleep. And anytime you try to force your body into doing something, it's going to create a problem. The other thing is, I when my husband passed away, I was struggling with sleep, and I tried it was a combination of THC and CBD that I got at a dispensary. And I wasn't going to do a gummy because they're loaded with sugar and most of them have sugar and artificial,
Mm.
colors and stuff in there. And I'm not eating that, but I tried an oil, and the oil itself was not good. It was bad quality oil. So, there's a whole other, level of things to look at when you're doing things like this. If you're growing your own organic marijuana, at least it's clean, at least, right? Um, so that's such a controversial topic. I'm not going to go there.
No,
People
we
get
don't have to go in all
angry
that.
at me. Yeah.
I wanted to just point that out because you were hitting on these key things. And then
Mhm.
sleep is not all like sleep inducing things. There's bottom line, there's a challenge with it when you're forcing your body with some chemical to go into sleep. There's something you're going to be missing from it,
Right.
you know. Okay, so I'm excited where we go next because I was making my little list of things, and it just dawned on me, there's the hierarchy of our needs of like what's going to kill us like the fastest on down. So the fastest thing is the lack of air will kill us. And then water is next on the list. You can only go for a period of time without water. And then next people think is food, but really it's sleep. Sleep will kill you sooner than if you don't have food. Like you can last longer without food. So here you're hitting all your top things: water, sleep, food. So now I'm really curious what our next anti-aging thing's gonna be, because those are just primary survival stuff.
Right. Right. And air is a good one. Um, and I do tell this to patients who have asthma and other lung issues, that's always what we have to address first, because you have to be able to breathe in order to be alive. So the next on the list is exercise or movement, because sitting is almost as bad for you as smoking, and it's not natural. We're designed to be moving. Before there was technology, we were moving all the time. The only time that you didn't move is when you were sleeping or eating. And even when you were eating, like, back in ancient times, you weren't necessarily sitting on a chair, right? So
Right.
people would squat, they would still be using their physical body. They would squat to poop, they would squat to give birth. So uh, not moving will age you much more quickly. You will have reduced bone mass, you will have reduced muscle mass, and reduced circulation, which will lead to other problems. So if you think about it, if you're not getting enough circulation, let's say to your brain, it puts you at higher risk for dementia. So it doesn't have to be crazy exercise. You don't have to go to the gym every day, but you need to just get your body moving. So I recommend that if you're not moving right now, that you just start by walking. And walking on a softer surface is better if you're not used to walking, or if you have pain. Let's say you have low back pain, you have knee pain, foot pain, whatever. Walking on things like, let's say, a track with a softer surface than, let's say, I live in a city, so sidewalks, or walking on grass or sand, which is a little more challenging and challenges your balance muscles a little bit. So it's good exercise. And if you have a place to walk barefoot, that's even better, because then you can combine grounding with walking. So you're getting the benefit of the Earth's electromagnetic field, the therapeutic electromagnetic field.
And I also too, Dr. Cori, is there's a lot of great shoes out there now where they
Yes.
got, it was Hoka was the one brand years ago, but now I think most brands have a really nice walking shoe with a cushion and all of
Yes.
that. So there's all kinds of great shoes available depending on your mobility issues and what's available to you to walk on.
Yes. And I've done a lot of research on this because
Mm.
due to the nature of my job, I'm standing a lot. I stand a lot. I stand for many, many hours. And my feet are doing well at 61, because I take good care of them and wear correct shoes. So yeah, so some kind of motion. Let's just say you are struggling with even weight bearing, with walking. Um, get one of those floor pedal cycle things. It's like just pedal, just move your legs, and then you can put it on a tabletop and move your arms. So some motion is better than no motion. Just start off slow and do what you can. If you're able to do more vigorous exercise, great. Go
Yeah.
for it. It will slow down your aging process.
I've got a friend of mine that's it's our age, but she's still working. She works remotely, and so she's at a desk all day. So she got a standing desk, but then she got bone density stuff back, and she's had like some cause for alarm with muscle tensions and stuff too. So she's gotten this like it's like a treadmill, but it's made for like a desk, and then she puts on super
Mhm.
slow, but she gets in like 6 miles of walking a
Yes.
day by
Yeah,
being at her desk standing, and it's just as slow, and she can quickly
those are
stop
great.
it if she needs
Yeah.
to, but it's really changed a lot of her the tension patterns she was getting with it.
Yeah, I love those things. So either a sit stand desk, or if you can afford to get the treadmill desk, that's ideal if you're somebody that has a stationary job.
Yes.
If you do have a stationary job and you can't do either of the above, you need to, first of all, put on your alarm and get up every hour and move around a little bit and stretch. And you also need to find time to go for some walks on your, off time. You have to find a way to do it. I see people, I've seen patients in their 30s that have a desk job, and now 20 years later, they're still my patients, and they're deteriorating more rapidly. So I'm watching it. I watch it in real time. I watch it
I was
happen.
a thought that came to mind with it, remember when we were younger and I grew up in the Midwest and we were always outside playing. we did
Right.
not have technology or TVs,
Right.
we had a little black and
Yes.
white, we had to move the rabbit ears around to get something in focus, but we were outside playing all the time, play, play, play. And then we had the unnatural having to sit at our desk during school, but at least we had physical education. We had lunch breaks. We were in the playground playing around. There was no cell phones. We'd go home. We'd immediately run around until dinner time, and then sometimes after dinner. So I'm just wondering like what it's setting kids up for now with
Yeah,
this. I mean, they're doing
absolutely.
sports and stuff too. I guess there's a lot of that, but
Some
there's just a
kids do.
lot of some kids. There's a lot
Yeah.
of sitting around. I just wonder about their bone density and just their whole body,
No,
how it's
I'm
going to
seeing
develop.
that. I'm seeing that.
Yeah.
I see kids literally with their spine starting to curve that, where they can't sit up straight because they're just either gaming all day or they're on their cell phone like this. But it's happening to adults also. I mean, we're living in a world where you don't have to move. You could just press buttons, food can come to you. You can turn your TV on, you can have everything, the world at your fingertips without moving. So this is why it's more important to just be aware of how important it is to not let yourself fall into those habits.
Yeah, a
Um,
reminder, we incarnated into physical form, into
right.
bodies with our different levels. We have our bodies, we have our emotions, we have our mind, we have our spirits, and they're all the components, vital components about being incarnate. And you can't just go, I'm just going to live from here up, or I'm just going to be all this spiritual stuff. Well, you came in a body, it's your response, it's your temple, and it's like you got to take care of it. It's part of the package while we're here.
You can't trade it in this lifetime. So, you
Yes.
can trade in your car if it gets old and breaks down, but you're stuck with that body. So, yeah, keep it fine tuned. And then I'm going to be sharing some of my favorite anti-aging products in a minute. But before I do, I just want to do the last foundational important point, and that is to try to reduce your toxic load.
Mm.
And how do you do that when we live in such a toxic world? And you just control what you can control, right? So you try to eat clean food, organic food. You use green cleaning products and don't poison yourself while you're cleaning your house. Use clean products for your body. Don't you put chemicals on your skin, on your hair, on your body, and as best you can keep the air in your house clean. Use essential oils to clean the air. Have a good air purifier. I have an excellent silent air purifier on my website. I have all these tools that I offer people. There's even a personal air purifier that people wear around their neck. So it's good for people that have seasonal allergies. It's good for if you're
Mm.
going to be in an environment where you're around a lot of sick people and you're worried about it. It just cleans the air around you. So, it's not the most attractive necklace, but it really serves its purpose for people that need extra help.
Well, maybe
So
we can layer it with other attractive things and can kind of
yeah,
bury it in the layer look.
I'll send you one. I'll let you. You're the best person to try to do that. And being toxic not only ages you faster, but predisposes you to becoming sick because your immune system handles toxins the same way it handles pathogens. It tries to help you with it, and it depletes your immune system when you're very toxic. So choose your poisons carefully, right? I dye my hair. That's one of the poisons I choose. I try to use the lowest toxic hair dye that I can, but that's really the worst thing that I do. I have, clean laundry detergent. I use green cleaning products. I have organic makeup. Everything. I only eat organic food except on the rare occasion when I go to a restaurant. And then still, if they have something organic on the menu, I'll order it. So that's a lot. I have so many videos about that topic.
Do you
Because
also talk about in your videos, Cori, about cleansing? And I know there's like definitely right ways and wrong ways of doing it. So I never
yes,
recommend
yes.
somebody just go and jump and do a cleanse, is to really get educated and work with somebody on that.
Yeah, I have two videos, one that's how to prepare your body for a detox, and
Mhm.
then how to do a detox correctly, because like you said, there's a right way and a wrong way, and if you do it the wrong way, you can make yourself feel really sick. And not
And
necessarily.
you can do damage too, because if you release too many toxins too fast, which I've done that before when I was back in my 30s, I
Me
experimented
too.
with long-term fasting and stuff. And some of them I did way too fast and it felt like I was hooked up to a toxic waste dump. And really I
Yes.
had to put so much, I just kept putting food in my body to quickly, I had to stop the process. It was really like an emergency and
Yeah.
it's nothing to joke around about with it. It
I
has to
had,
be
I had
done.
the same experience. Yeah, the
Did you?
first time I ever tried to detox, before I know what I now know, but before I knew what I now know. But yeah, because the how to prepare your body for a detox, I'm talking about your drainage organs. So if you're detoxing, you have to be able to eliminate the toxins. So there's a very easy way to help make sure that your body's able to eliminate toxins. And that's what that whole video is about.
I mean, it's so important. You can do more damage if the stress, you can do more damage to your body
They
if the
recirculate.
pathways of
Right,
elimination are congested,
right,
liver, kidneys, is all of your internal organs. And then you're pulling out because the body will take toxins and it stores it typically in fat deposits, right? I mean, it
right.
stores, I can't get rid of it. I'm going to store it safely away. Now, if you're going to pull that out, out of safety, you got to be able to get rid of it. Otherwise, it's going to start going places where it's going to do damage.
Right. And that's actually one of the main causes of cancer.
Hmm.
Yeah. Tumors are toxic waste dumps. They're storing toxins. So that's, not the only cause, but it's a major cause. So it is an important topic. And some people just need some guidance with it, which if you watch those videos and you need more help, you can always email me and we'll
Perfect.
give you my email at the end. And I'm going to do a screen share now and go over my favorite anti-aging products. And I use all of these myself. Um, so the first one I want to share is, I have a new computer, so I don't really know how to use it yet. This is a stem cell anti-wrinkle cream, and it's completely natural. There's no chemicals in it, and it's marine plant stem cells, and it's really very effective. I've been using this for a very long time, and I absolutely am in love with it. You can use it anywhere in your body.
And can I chime in here? Because sometimes people will look at really good products and they're like, oh my God, the price. But I bet you that lasts a long time, right? Because you don't need like a whole bunch of it. And,
Right.
like, so you get probably a few months worth out of it with one bottle.
Yes. I think I've had mine now for over 3 months. But the stuff that people buy in the store is just as expensive or worse,
Hmm.
and if you're going to buy garbage to put on your skin, then you're going to make yourself toxic anyway. And
Yeah.
the cheap stuff, it just doesn't work. But I
Well,
feel like,
I'm gonna be ordering this for sure. I need a really good cream. So
yeah,
that'll be
this
nice.
is an amazing cream. And so I put that one on at night. And then I have another one that I use in the morning, which, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble with the,
It's okay. Take your time with that.
no, it's this one. So I use this one in the morning. And this one is a moisturizer, but it also reverses sun damage. So we really didn't talk too much about sun today. Um, a lot of people are worried about the sun damaging their skin or causing wrinkles, but it's not necessarily true if you don't have nutritional deficiencies. The sun is not necessarily dangerous. But this particular moisturizer actually has a little bit of natural SPF in it. And it's all like, look, the stuff in here is
Ooh,
amazing.
well, that's
There's
a
less,
great
yeah,
ingredients.
yeah. It's a beautiful cream, and it actually helps to also treat weird skin stuff, like um, sunspots and even rashes and moles to a degree. It heals the skin.
Oh,
And
I'm gonna get this too because I'm like living in Santa Fe. We have a lot of beautiful sun and I
right.
love sun, but I'll just go out for little teeny periods of time just to get my vitamin D. I mean, just actually laying out to just get a little
Hmm.
sun. But I do have some like little aging spots that have been coming out and especially on hands and stuff, which I don't like using a sunscreen, but I also don't want to have like old lady hands and face with all kinds of sunspots. So this might help with that.
Well, it will help reverse the sunspots. And I actually have also a natural sun block on my website
Okay.
if you ever need it. I mean,
Yeah.
I have fair skin and freckles and I can sit out in the sun, but if it's, midday and I'm in a tropical climate, I'm going to use my natural
Yeah.
sunscreen also. And oops, I just ended
Oops.
the my computer, this new computer is very sensitive and I just touched the wrong thing and it does what it wants to do. All right. The next thing I want to talk about is collagen
Mm.
because your skin, hair, nails, joints, digestive tract, blood vessels, bones are all made out of collagen. So as you age, collagen, by the way, is a protein and it's the most abundant protein in your body. Your body will take amino acids that you're eating from protein foods and it will produce collagen. But as you age, it produces less and less collagen. And that is one of the reasons why your hair might thin as you age, or your skin might sag, or your bones might lose some of their density. A lot of people think loss of bone density is due to calcium, but it's mostly due to loss of collagen. So your bones are collagen with some minerals in them, and calcium is the most abundant mineral. But I do recommend that people over a certain age, let's say, even starting in their 40s, take some collagen. Um, you can eat it, but you have to eat the parts of the animal that most people don't eat. So you have to eat the organ meats, you have to make yourself bone broth, things like that. But this is just, more convenient. It's a powder, it dissolves in hot or cold. And this is one of the better brands. So you have to be very careful with brands. This is grass fed, it's clean, it's glyphosate free. Glyphosate is the chemical in the weed killer Roundup, and it's very
Mm.
toxic. And a lot of collagens on the market are not clean. So I did a lot of research on it. This is one of my favorite brands. And I have, unflavored, we have chocolate and vanilla, which are sweetened with natural sweeteners like stevia, monk fruit, things like that. So
Um,
I take 4 scoops of this a day.
Dr. Corey, so would this be in placement to your protein powder, or you still do like a protein powder for protein stuff and then just have this as like a separate thing?
You could use this as a replacement because it is just protein. So pro proteins are made out of amino acids, and different proteins have different amino acid profiles. So let's say this type of protein made out of, let's say, whey, has more of these amino acids. And this type of protein, let's say collagen, has more of these amino acids.
Mm.
Most people are not getting enough of the amino acids that are abundant in collagen. So it probably would be more beneficial to use collagen as your protein powder rather than any other. I do have other protein sources. I do have a supplement called Perfect Amino, but this the main amino acid that you're not getting, because if you're not eating organ meat, you're not getting enough of it, is called glycine, and collagen is very rich in glycine.
Okay.
So I definitely recommend that people use collagen. This is a stem cell specifically for skin. It's called Juvenxa, and it prevents wrinkles and flaccid skin, and it helps to improve the elasticity. and maintain the hormonal balance of the skin. And all of the stem cells that are not plant-based come from sheep. Um, it's all completely clean. I've been taking this for oh, I don't know, I think 3 or 4 years maybe. And it definitely is slowing down my aging, my skin
Oh,
aging process. So
oh, I need that too.
I'm not willing to give it up. And I had a 36-year-old come in to my office this week, and she's been using it. And she said to me, I ran out of it and I could see the difference right away. She said, not only is it keeping my skin smooth, but it's actually helping me with adult acne, which,
Mm.
it's not, wasn't supposed to do that, but it is doing that for her. The next
Is
thing I
it,
want to, yeah.
oh, I've seen, so a box of that, is that a month worth or how, do you know?
Yeah, there is I think there is 60 in there. So I think it
And
is
then the 2 a day. Okay, that would make
yeah.
sense.
And then this is another stem cell. This is the Rolls Royce of stem cells. So this is just an anti-aging
Mm.
stem cell. It is very expensive. You only like do it once. It's renews all the cells in your body. So if you just want to give yourself, if you can afford it and you just want to give yourself a kind of shot of anti-aging, and a lot of these things are cheaper than what other people do, like Botox and plastic surgery and all of those things. So I did do this once. And I think probably I did it last year. I think I'll probably do it again, just once a year, maybe, is all you really need.
Do you, Dr. Cori, do you just drink, that's like a liquid, you drink each of those little bottles, or how does that work?
No, there's actually tablets in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is it done so is it comes with all those bottles and tablets? So it's like one
Yeah.
time you do it and you do it like each day for 4 or 5 days, or how
There's
does that
yeah,
work?
there's three different levels of it. So you're doing, the human ultrasound number one for a period of time, and then when you're done with that, you do number two, and then you do number three.
Okay.
Yeah. They actually changed it a little bit since I used it, so I have to reread the instructions. But
Okay.
I remember the first dose that I took, and I immediately felt something very powerful happen, and I had to sit
Mm.
down. I was just like, whoa. I felt almost like I wanted to go to sleep, but that's because, as I mentioned earlier, you do most of your healing in your sleep. And this was such a powerful healing agent that it just hit me suddenly. But
Interesting.
yeah, it only happened that one time though. The next day, and the next time I took it, I was fine. This is also a topical stem cell cream for cellulite. And we have one that you could take by mouth too. So I use both of them for people that are not happy with the appearance of fat around wherever. You can, use it on your thighs, your butt, your belly,
That was
your
a
arms.
menopause thing that happened for me, is just sudden, I don't know if it was like my early 50s or whatever. It's just like one day I had subcutaneous fat, like
Mhm.
over my belly, just like this whole layer,
Yeah.
everything. And I was like, what? What? I mean, it felt like it happened overnight. Boom. It was
Yeah.
just there. It was
It's
crazy.
the fat, the muffin top fat is actually a way that your body stores estrogen. So most women get that. It even no matter how thin you are, you get that little layer of fat, which is protective. But
Mhm.
still, you want if you do have fat, I prefer my fat to be smooth rather than lumpy. So that's what this cellulodystrophic helps with, smoothing it out. Did that one, and then I think I have one last one. and that is evening primrose oil. And it's just an essential fatty acid that's especially good for women who are peri and menopause age. It has essential fatty acids in it that help with stabilizing hormones, and it promotes healthy skin. And it also helps with things like vaginal dryness. So it's like an internal moisturizer. And we talked a lot about the importance of fat in keeping skin healthy. So this is one way of making sure you get a fat into your body that you probably are not getting in your diet. And it does also help with some menopausal symptoms like hot flashes and inflammation. And that's it.
Yay. Thank you. I love it. You know, it's like you look at this and you see just very simple building block stuff, but anti-aging is not, doesn't have to be a complex thing. It doesn't have to be a complex thing, you know, running and having optimal health in our bodies. You know, we're meant to understand it. We're given all the tools, all the things naturally we need are the keys, you know? And so it's like people think, oh, I've got to be like super fancy, this or that. No, we're talking about getting good sleep, drinking a lot of water, you know, exercising, clean food, and they can add the other stuff on, but it's just to really be cognizant of your basic needs, you know, and how clean they are, how active you are. And you know, so I think that is just another beautiful reminder that the body, yes, it's a complex thing, but there's simple things so for it to run efficiently.
Right. And we have lost track of simplicity entirely.
Yeah. Yes, they love it's like the secret stuff, and there's always gonna be some real secret weird thing they come up with. Is no, the secret stuff is like your basic stuff, you know, but just take care of yourself in these areas. So I made my little list here, and I'll go back and re-listen to this. And it was just a good reminder of all these things. And some of them I just struggle with, you know, it's especially
Right.
as you get older, you know, staying hydrated in a dry climate, you know, getting enough sleep, not watching TV just before I go to sleep, not doing, I mean, there's stuff like every day I've got to really like, all right, just make sure I'm staying in the pattern, because I can stay in the pattern, then all of a sudden I go, and I get off it. It's like, okay, got to get back on,
It's
get
a
back
matter
on the
of
train.
making a choice each moment, really. You know, do I choose to do the healthy thing, or do I just say, the hell with it and not do it? But just make sure you're making the choice. Don't
Right.
don't fall into the trap of just getting into bad habits and not even being conscious of it. You know, so awareness is really helpful, and training yourself to have that dialogue in your head all the time. You know, I'll go once in a while, I'll say like, I really feel like eating a slice of New York pizza right now, and I know that if I eat it, I'm going to regret it. And then I'll take myself through, okay, so you feel like eating pizza, think about how you're going to feel after you eat it, because there's too much bad salt in there for my heart, and my heart doesn't like it. Do you want to go through that or not? And then I'm like, maybe I'll make myself a little pizza with an Ezekiel English muffin, and I'll get some organic sauce and put some organic cheese on it. And
Right.
okay, that satisfied me. So I made that decision. But yeah, maybe one time I say, the hell with it, I'm going to have pizza, and I'm aware of the choice I'm making and the consequence that I'll have to suffer, and I'm willing to suffer that consequence, you know. So
Yeah.
it's very different when you make a decision.
Because the thing when we don't make a decision, we just go with the flow. You know, it's
Right.
just entropy is compelling, and entropy has a gravitational force. And we're talking
Right.
about entropy is like the spiral downward as opposed to syntropy, a spiral of health going upwards. And that has got a gravitational pull, and you get like locked into this cycle. And I'm sure there's all kinds of components we could talk about with that another time, and just getting your body off balance, and whatever microbes create, you know, crave more this and that. And pretty soon other things are craving and directing you
Yes.
down this tunnel. where all of a sudden you're just eating all these complex carbs all the time because your
Yeah.
adrenals and your, everything just gets off balance with it. It's really
That's
easy
a
to do.
great next topic, actually,
Yes.
because so many people struggle with that. Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. I love it. All right, thank you. And Dr. Cori, before we sign off today, first off, thank you so much for your wisdom you've shared with us. I appreciate you so much. And I know this is going to be a blessing to many more women, that are able to listen to, your talk about this and can get on your website. So I want you to share, your website, your YouTube channel. We'll put links in the interview. And also, you've so generously offered, for people to email you as well with questions and stuff.
Yes. So the website is simply drcori.com. That's DRCORI.com. And on that website, you can find all of the products that we talked about. They're mostly just on the website, but the evening primrose oil, you have to click on shop standard process, and that will be on there. My YouTube channel is my name, Dr. Cori Stern. Take control of your health. But if you just put my name in there, you'll find it. And I have videos on almost every health topic and trying to put more content out as best I can. If you have a request, I take requests, so you can email me at questions@drcori.com. You can give me a video request there. You can ask me health advice. I may suggest that you do a consult with me and go on a health improvement program, depending on your situation and what's going on with you. If I can make a simple recommendation, I'll do that as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much, my dear. And yes, let's text each other and let's get scheduled for another talk. And maybe we can go more into, because it's really fascinating to me. I had done a short little video on cravings and, how we have crazy cravings at all these levels, but especially like on the physiological level, where we think we have to have something because we're going to die. Well, it's not you that's going to die. There's other things going on in the body. So, and it's kind of, once you know about that stuff, boy, it puts a whole other spin on, do I really want to have that chocolate cake?
Right. Exactly.
Okay, my dear, thank you so much. Bless.